You still punish yourself for who you had to be to survive. But what if that version of you wasn't a mistake, but a miracle? You walk backward through memory like it's a burning house. Each room is a version of you you'd rather forget. The girl who stayed too long, the woman who begged, the silence you kept, the smile you faked, the years you gave to someone who only took. And in your quietest moments, there is a voice, not theirs, yours, asking, how could I have let that happen? You were strong enough to leave, but the shame stayed. It clings to the walls of your mind like smoke that won't clear, a haunting that plays on loop. This video is a journey into that shame, but it doesn't end there. Because buried beneath self-blame is the truest form of power. Compassion for the girl who lived through hell and didn't turn to stone. Some people say healing is about moving on. But for women who've survived emotional abuse, the hardest part isn't leaving the person who hurt you. It's facing the version of yourself that tolerated it. That's where the real war begins. Because abuse doesn't just wound you, it rewrites your memory. It makes you question your reality, your instincts, your worth. It teaches you that silence is safety, that shrinking is love, and so you adapted. You became who you had to be, not who you really are. But now, safe and away, you look back with eyes that are clearer and crueler. You judge the girl who stayed. You cringe at her choices. You replay the worst moments and whisper, I should have known. I should have left. I should have fought back. But that's the trick of survival. It always looks obvious in hindsight. What you forget is that she wasn't living in hindsight. She was surviving in real time. And survival doesn't ask, what's best for me? It asks, what will hurt the least? That girl, she didn't fail. She negotiated with a monster and lived to tell the tale. And now she needs your forgiveness, not your shame. The deepest wound isn't what they did to you. It's what you now believe about yourself because of it. Shame is a shapeshifter. It doesn't yell, it whispers. You were weak. You were stupid. You let them treat you that way. You deserved it. It turns your trauma into a courtroom and you into both judge and jury. And the sentence is always the same. It was my fault. This shame doesn't scream. It seeps into your choices, your relationships, your reflection. It's in the way you doubt your worth, even when others don't. In how you shrink from love, convinced you'll ruin it. In how you hustle for approval, never believing you're enough. It's in the way you replay the same memory and always make yourself the villain. But here's the truth. Shame is a lie dressed as justice. It pretends it's keeping you honest, but really it's keeping you imprisoned. You can't punish yourself into healing. You can only love yourself there. There is a moment in every survivor's journey, a sacred breaking point where self-judgment becomes too heavy to carry any longer. It often comes quietly. You're sitting alone, remembering something you said to keep the peace, something you now hate yourself for. And then, for the first time, you ask a different question. Not, why did I say that, but what was I afraid would happen if I didn't? And suddenly, everything shifts, because under every choice you made in abuse was a fear. Fear of being hurt, fear of being left, fear of being unloved, fear of being nothing. When you see her, not as a mistake, but as a woman trying to survive with what she had, you begin to loosen the noose of shame. You remember, she was scared, but she still showed up. She was confused, but she kept trying. She was isolated, but she never stopped hoping. You don't owe that version of you a punishment. You owe her a thank you. Picture her now, the woman you once were. Is she crying in the bathroom so no one hears? Is she smiling through dinner with a man who sees her as less than human? Is she holding her phone, rereading the last cruel message, wondering what she did wrong? Can you see her? Now, what if you stepped into that memory, not to scold her, but to hold her? What would change? What if instead of replaying those moments with shame, you replayed them with compassion? You, the woman you are now, walk into that scene. You sit beside her. You say, you didn't deserve that. You were never the problem. You did the best you could. And slowly, her breath steadies. Her spine straightens. Her eyes soften, because you just gave her what she needed most. Not escape, not revenge, but understanding. That's how transformation begins. Healing is not becoming someone new. It's returning to the self you were before the world taught you to hate her. And the bridge back to her is compassion. When you stop blaming the girl who stayed, you begin to become the woman who never will again. That is not weakness. It is strength, the kind forged in fire, not in fantasy. Every version of you, the one who tolerated, the one who broke, the one who rose, they all deserve a seat at the table. Not just the triumphant parts, but the trembling ones too. Because real healing isn't a highlight reel, it's a reckoning. You look at every version of yourself and say, you are mine, and I will love you back into wholeness. If this message spoke to you, not the polished you, not the pretending you, but the quiet, hurting you, then stay on this path. There is more healing ahead, more remembering, more reclaiming. But for now, let this be enough. You don't have to fight the past. You only have to stop fighting yourself. And when you do, the shame starts to melt. Not because the pain didn't matter, but because you do. Imagine this, a hallway of mirrors, each one showing a version of you, the smiling mask, the silent girl, the woman who begged. You walk through, and instead of turning away, you bow your head to each one, and you say, thank you for surviving. And at the end of the hallway, a mirror with no reflection, just light. You step into it, and it doesn't shatter. It welcomes you home.